Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the Pimp Slap P.O.D., Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
Last call.
What up? What up? Welcome in. It's Monday. New week, new money, new Monday. Let's get this cash. We are going to kick ass and continue to dominate and take names this month of March. Coming off a banger yesterday. A lot of fun with my guy, Dutch Boy. Of course, we had Billy Briz up in there too, and firing bombs out there. Had a great card across the NHL, NBA, and even some overs in some college conference championships out there. So let's roll it back. What do you say here? It's a great time to get this cash and get this cash we need here. This is definitely going to be the second biggest week. Last week was a huge week with college basketball games. This one, though, will be a big one here. Need this one here. Pivotal spot for the gambling year here. It's not just about trying to find a couple games here and there. This is the time with all the cash, all the games on the table for us to go in there, get sharp, and get cash. And so appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight to do just that. We have a card lined up here, small card, and you guys know that's when the bookies need to be scared. The smaller the card, the stronger we play. That's how we roll out there. We've got 2 games in the NHL. We've got ourselves a handful across the NBA, and I opened it up a little bit more in the NBA than maybe I should have tonight. So we will see. I feel really great about the spots that we have on both sides of this thing here between the NHL and on the NBA. And, of course, you already know we don't have any college basketball tonight. They're giving us a little night of reprieve, a lot of travel for these teams that are either moving to the big dance or they're moving to the NIT or the CIT or anything else that goes along the way. But that is okay because we have a nice little time to catch our breaths from this weekend and then kind of get a game plan together. Got lots of brackets to put together out there, lots of opportunities. Go fleece your friends and take their bracket cash out there. We'll help you guys get those winners. You already know that's how we roll. Hit that thumbs up button if you're just getting in here for us. Show the support out there. Give us the love and appreciation. And the only way we know that is by seeing you guys giving us that thumbs up. Help us crack the code and get that, migration there. We need to crack the algorithm here for this YouTube channel. And we want to continue to promote the brand of what we're doing here with Last Call on Pub Sports Radio. And it starts with your help. Appreciate you guys showing up on the regular. 3 things we ask you to do, in fact, is hit that thumbs up button. Grab a pen and paper. You're not just going to want to hit that thing and write down what I share from the panel here, but of course, everybody out there in the chat. The chat is oh so sharp and getting sharper by the day. I say it every day, and I mean it every single day. Over the weekend, we were firing. You guys were flying back and forth with picks with me. It's a lot of fun. I love, again, what we're building here, getting the opportunity to come back on the regular with you guys and share my best looks and then hear what you guys have as well. So it makes it so much fun. And of course, last but not least, throw your picks up there in the chat. Let's recognize what you guys are on as well. We're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to go out there and cook the books. Let's do it together. Let's get this cash here. We've got today's as good a day as any. We might as well go out there and get that money. Appreciate everybody dropping in the chat with us. There's our guy, Joe T, says, hey, Mikey M, let's get that cash. No best bet. No NCAA tonight, so no best bet. But let's get some winners, my guy, Joe T. You taking much needed night off. Let us do the driving for you tonight. You can sit in the passenger seat and maybe get a couple of these spots with us. It's all good, my guy. You've been busting your butt through the college basketball season. We appreciate it. Brian Watson says, yeah, it's Monday winning time out there. And there's the futon bets in the house. First play shared in the chat. I'll get it right. It's a long weekend. The futon bet says Tom Wilson over 2.5 shots on goal. Futon bet says, what's up, buddy? Let's get this cash. So bonus triple double sprinkle. Not mad at that spot at all. In fact, I like this rebound number. Lofty at 13.5, but I certainly like it. And there's Mr. Anderson says Knicks Warriors total over to 11.5. Says thank me later out there. We'll be talking about that game across the NBA tonight. We've got a bunch of them laid out for us. Oldie says smash the like, you freeloaders out there. Appreciate you, Old E, man. It's great to see you in the chat and seeing you on and around all weekend. So that's great to hang out with you guys, man. AOD says Detroit basketball. And Justin McCalvy's in the house here. He says Stacks POD. He likes that Lakers over 117.5 on his team total out there. And look what our guy's doing here. You know, he's kicking ass. He's taking names. He's 300 plays plus deep and ready to go out there and fight the good fight for all of us. So, Justin, we appreciate you sharing that, my guy. Bo Jackson's in the house. Bo, it's great to see you, my guy. And Kenny Wood says, what's up, Mikey M? Shout out to you for that Dallas Stars place. Thanks, Ken Wood. Yeah, it's funny because, I was talking about it. I felt like I talked about it for 10 days. And then it came out there and, that little kind of last minute you get. I know our guy Pete Loshak calls it kind of the fear of giving out the public play type of thing. And it's like, man, I've been talking about it all week. It better win. And he did. It smacked him. So it was fun. That was a good spot for us. -1, -1.5. We ultimately chose to parlay it with Fiala on one of the live streams that I was doing and made it some plus money. So, again, Fiala came through for us. We'll talk a little bit about that, but great spot out there. And your LA Kings schedule, it's coming up again. It's coming up again to go take advantage of that spot there, Kenwood. AOD says, if you're not in the green and a member, what you waiting for out there? We appreciate everybody being in the green. Love to see the new members on the daily. Keep growing this community one member at a time. Let's roll. Justin McKelvey in the house talking to Old E back and forth. There's my guy, Jay Peasy. If you didn't know, Jay Peasy wrote the intro. Best damn intro. I'm going to say it. I'm going out there. It's not even that far-fetched here. It's the best damn intro in all of YouTube out there. So haters going to hate, and that's what our guy Jay Peasy does out there. He gives him a reason to hate because he's so damn good. Let's go, Jay Peasy. Pub Sports Radio, my guy Tia on the ones and twos, keeping it tight and right for us, keeping this thing moving like a well-oiled machine. Jay Stone 9's in the house, says NHL. Let's go. Yeah, my guy, Juggler 23. Says Wise Guys moved on Golden State last night. We love to see the Wise Guys reports that you share with us, Juggler 23. Keep it rolling. There's Luke Murphy in the house, my guy, and there's Ramon Scott Sports, my homie Ramon Scott. Ramon Scott, it's great to see you in the chat, man. He says Jimmy Buckets out. Big move there. You know what? Call me crazy, but feels like it could very well be a Philadelphia 76er spot. Man, they stink right now, though. It's terrible. It's terrible. Nasty Nate says, how about them? Yeah, man, them Celtics, baby. Smashing and cashing. We're going to talk about that game tonight. Kelsey's in the chat. What up, Kelsey? It's great to see you in here. Justin says, Ramon Scott, how you been, my friend out there? Lots of love for Ramon Scott in the chat. Why wouldn't there be? It's just a great dude, just a straight great dude out there ready to roll and give us his best info as well out there. We appreciate him sharing the injury updates. AOD says Celtics second quarter, cash it. AOD says Wizards blow. They do, in fact, out there, my guy. It's great. Ramon Scott continuing to give us some injury updates here. He says Tatum's out tonight versus Detroit. Maybe it is that Detroit spot that we saw in the chat there. Tarek B. Kyrie snatched the W yesterday. Yeah, he did. He did. But you know what? We'll take that one. It was the battle versus the war. The war was won, man. We went like 5-0, I think, after that in the NBA. So it was a lot of fun to get that cash here. You're not going to win them all, especially volume. I know my guy Ramon Scott knows about volume. You know what? We'll take one of them L's if we pick up 5 or 6 wins along the way after that, too. So not going to be all glory, but yeah, that was a close one. It was a great spot by Kyrie, too. I mean, in terms of shots, yeah. I was just happy to hear there wasn't a ton of grandstanding about it because it was a tight game. It wasn't like they blew him out there. That shot, frankly, difference maker, right? Could have gone the other way pretty easily. So anyhow, Ramon Scott again giving us the updates. Here's the lowdown with our guy Ramon Scott. He says Cunningham out tonight at Boston. Now I'm starting to get a little concerned about this play I have in that game. We'll talk about it. We'll roll. Lamont Williams says, my guy, need money today. Real deal. Bo Jackson says Knicks are live tonight. Jay Peasy, LOL, NBA, nobody's availability. That is so true, though, isn't it? Isn't it? Let's go out there. Real Deal Prime, the grinder in the house. We're going to talk about that Sabres game tonight, my guy, Real Deal Prime. Truth Teller's up there. He says, hey, Mikey, good to see you. Smash the like for Mike Truth Teller. Thank you, my guy. Appreciate you dropping in with us. And there's our guy, Jay Smooth, the Smooth Balls play of the day. You guys know it's oh so important to keep them smooth. And our guy, Jay Smooth, is helping with just that. Anthony Edwards, 4+ threes at a nice plus 175 spot for our guy. Jay Smooth out there getting it done. Let's roll. Onward and upward out there. Talk sports with JT's in the house. Is Cleveland plus 6.5. And might tie over to money line is what he's telling AOD. So we'll see how that rolls out there. We'll see what these guys continue to pop. Lamont Williams, my max bet, Detroit. Team total over 103.5 for our guy Lamont Williams. Great to see you in the chat, Lamont. Thank you for popping in with us and giving us your best looks. No D says, I'm not drunk yet at Nasty Nate. And then Andrew G says, NBA makes it as hard as possible. It's crazy. Come to the conclusion the other day that the NBA is only putting the injury report out there to mess with everybody's mind. Doesn't matter. I've said it time and again. And the more you sit around stewing on these injuries, hey, we're going to catch some losses. But it's still a profitable year in the NBA with that damn these injuries process. So we'll keep it rolling. Let's go on here tonight. If you guys are just getting out of work, just getting home, trying to figure out what you're going to do for dinner, looking to see what kind of cocktail you're going to concoct this evening to get this cash going, let us help you figure out where to put that cash here. We're going to start this thing off with the NHL. You guys already know the deal here. We start off with hockey. Then we'll move to college basketball and the NBA. Tonight, we're absent of college basketball, and that's okay. And that is okay. I got to say, nobody made more plays than me in college basketball over the last 5 days. I'm confident in that number. Just about every game, every side, every way, and it was still over a 60% cap out there in cash. So it was a lot of fun to get it done with my guy Jimmy the Bag last week and the conference plays. Looking to roll forward here as we move into this week with the big NCAA tournament, but plenty of time to get there. Let's talk about tonight's slate. The NHL kind of doing us dirty for a Monday. You know, you'd think Selection Sunday, okay, but again, came off a monster strike yesterday and gave all those plays out there with my guy Dutch Boy Fresh over on All About the Hoops, the Sunday edition. And we're going to run it back tonight. We've got 2 games in the NHL. We'll start off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The Washington Capitals, the Calgary Flames in a showdown, and it's that time of year. We're into March. March turns to April so fast, and then we're into playoff hockey, if you can believe it already. It's been a phenomenal NHL season. Hopefully we made some new fans out of you guys as well from the NHL. I know we started the shows off there and everyone just wanted to talk hoops, man, but I'll tell you what, true be that, we are kicking ass and taking names. We're up over 45 units this season, specifically in the NHL. There's the record scrolling across the bottom. If you don't know, now you know. It is a damn good sport to get out there and cash, and there's so many fun ways to try to put together plus money. So let's talk about this game here. We've got Washington Capitals. We've got Lindgren. They're starting goaltender out there at 17, 11, and 5. And how about Dustin Wolf, the AHL guy coming up to the show, 3-3-1. He's got to come up to the show because Markstrom had to go. He got injured out there. They still haven't disclosed the full extent of Markstrom's injuries, but Wolf has stepped in admirably in his place. You look at the goals against average, it's 2.61 goals against average for Lindgren and 91.4% save percentage. Wolf, though, you know, AHL goaltender, keep in mind, there's a big gap in the speed from AHL to NHL. I'm not going to give him a break and call it a discount, but 3.14 goals against average and a 90% save percentage. However, let's go to see what's happened after shit really matters. Defined as Markstrom's out, we need you to play goaltender, and we need you to go out there and stop some pucks for us. What's Wolf done since then? 67 saves on 70 shots. That's good enough to be 95.7%. And he's 2-0 in that span as well. How do you win? You got to have your goaltender keeping pucks out of that. Also, you got to score. Calgary Flames outscoring their opponents 9-3 over their last 2 games as well. So they're kind of falling into that speed slot right now and finding a way to get things done out there. The Calgary Flames are. On the other side of things, it's the 3rd straight start for Lindgren. He's been pretty phenomenal right now. 3 or less goals in his last 5 games out there. And how do you win games? You keep them out of the net. 4-1 for 95.9% save percentage here. We did some digging. We readjusted the databases. And where did we go? We went to the JPZ special out there with a nice low-scoring game tonight. We've got a situation where we've got a team that won as an away dog that is an away dog in the playoff hunt. So they've got to be just over that 58% marker. So in the playoff hunt in the month of March, what are we seeing with those teams? What are they doing? Well, we're seeing they're 41-87. Definitely supports a Calgary Flames spot there. But the under's the spot that I wanted to look to here. We've got a nice low VIG spot here with this under, and it's 47-71 to the under. You can get your 6.5s at -130. I'm going to elect to take the 6. I got that this morning. It was -102. It's moved up to -105s now. So it is starting to move on up there. And again, we're seeing those 6.5s. The average score is like a 3-2. A 3-2 suggesting Calgary wins the game. So I already did the homework for you. If you're going to parlay those two together, Calgary and the under, it's about a 2-1 spot on your cash as well. And That under is 6.5. So if you want to get cute with this thing, you want to start to go in there and try to double dip it. There's not a ton of NHL action tonight. You want to get that cash. I endorse it. I'm good with that. In fact, I may have that parlayed with a spot in the next game. But for show purposes tonight, I like the under 6 here. We're seeing it makes a ton of sense. Kelsey says under 6 at -106 at BetOnline. It's a great number. You still have the push and play if it gets to 6, but we're seeing 3-2s. Andrew G says 3-2-4-2 type of game. Yeah, man. Yeah. You guys already know that's how we're going to roll with this game there. So skates are on. We're lacing them up, and we're going out there for this first game at 8:30 tonight. We've got the Capitals, the Flames, and we're going to take the under 6 in the Calgary Flames game. Onward and upward. It's the only other game of the night in the NHL, which is kind of sad to say that, but let's roll on. Let's talk about it. We've got the Buffalo Sabres. We've got the Seattle Kraken going on right now. We've got the best goaltender in Buffalo right now at Luukkonen at 22-17-3. We've got Joey Decord on the other side, their best goaltender, I guess, at 17-14. I say I guess because it's kind of a crapshoot. You got, it's the you got shit and shittier, Decord and Grubauer. And Grubauer's kind of been injured. He's been fluctuating back and forth between injury and not. But for Buffalo, Luukkonen's going in goal. He's at 2.4 goals against average, 91.5% save percentage. Decord on the other side, 2.45 goals against average, 91.9% save percentage. Look, coin flippy spot between these two goaltenders. You guys know all the time. My big deal there when I look at these spots is if it's going to go coin flippy with the goaltending percentages there, you got to talk me off the dog. And in this case here, what Buffalo's got going on after the acquisition of Bo Byram has been special. It's a young team. They get the motivation. They get the bump in enthusiasm by having their guy Bo Byram come in there. Of course, we already know he's boys with a number of the Sabres across the room. It was a big deal that they went partying together in Mexico, good old Mexico, during the All-Star break. And he's been out there finding a way to get on the score sheet in the goal column as well, which is so important. Buffalo, 3-1 in their last 4. They did just break a little mini winning streak they had there with a 4-1 loss to Detroit. Luukkonen's 5th straight start. That Detroit game, not his finest moment. He let up 3 goals on 25 shots. But he's 10-4-1 over his last 15 games. I had to double check it. I couldn't believe he's playing that well with a 92.5% save percentage. The other side of things was Seattle. Things are not going great down there, up there, I should say, in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle 0-4 their last 4. Decord 1-2 over his last 3, but he's been playing decent. He's let 3 or less goals in each of those 3 games. They're just not scoring enough to help him out there. We've got goaltenders that are coin flips. They're kind of moving in 2 different directions. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to take this Buffalo Sabres team. And of interesting note, spot to take an eye at, potentially the draw. Maybe a sprinkle on the draw. I looked at some Sabres numbers here, and based on kind of the goal parameters, 3 of the last 4 games, the Sabres in this spot have gone into overtime. So it's a plus 310 spot out there. I'll sprinkle a little lean on that for you guys there. And if you wanted to parlay that with that Calgary in the under 6.5, it may be 18-1. I'm just saying. Kelsey, the draw would be when they go to overtime. So it's going to be tied at the end of the 3rd period, and they've got to go to overtime to settle the game out there. And it's a sudden death overtime in the NHL. The next goal wins type of situation. But you can bet on it, and it's typically going to be a favorable spot there. Plus 310 spots. 3-1 your money back if you take those guys to go into overtime. So, maybe worth a little sprinkle, but my official play of the game in this spot here, taking the better team, the better goaltender right now, I'm rolling with the Buffalo Sabres, and I got him at plus 105. Let's just do a quick line peekaroo here and make sure that these numbers are still the best spots we have out there. It's come down to 102. So if this line opened up at 105, just to keep it transparent with these records, I'm giving you guys the best numbers that are available at the moment, and we're using it day in and day out. I continue to give you guys the best numbers that are available at current market value here with last call. So not fair to take credit for a win that doesn't come in at the number everybody else can get. So when you see the records, everything is all about that transparency and keeping integrity in the numbers. That's what we have behind our name and our reputation, and everything's based on current numbers. So Nasty Nate says, Pete likes when you sprinkle the lean. Yeah, I was tracking leans earlier in the season, and where I struggled with that spot was the leans were kicking ass. In fact, I think at one point when we first kind of popped the show off there, we were up like 18 units on show plays, but we were up like 30 units on leans. So I've worked hard this season to kind of slowly transition. You guys don't hear me talk about leans much at all, if at all, anymore. Simply because I've just tried to find a way to capture it, bring them in, just changed a couple of the parameters, and I'm bringing them into the official plays now more so than anything else. So that's what happens. Mike Smoke Amir says, Mike, I cut off my number 2 to get in here. Oh man, my number. Oh man, you got to be careful. That stuff hurts. That hurts. Kelsey says, oh no, Jimmy versus Mikey. I don't like to see that, but respect all the cappers out there. Everyone's free to have their own opinion. I just like mine a little better. and that's the way it goes, especially with the 2-game card. So, been pretty dialed in with the NHL, but maybe we all win. Maybe I don't know if you're in Seattle. I don't know how you can win with me other than if it does go to overtime. But anyhow, let's go. Let's roll on, and appreciate everybody talking about what they've got out there. Plays in the chat. Love to see it. Love to talk about it. Andrew G says, head to head. You hate to see it. Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun. Jimmy and I have gone head to head plenty of times here. Probably I haven't tracked it closely, but I would say we're probably coin flippy. One of us will have a good day, the other one doesn't. And it's just situational spot. So it's all good. Real Deal Prime likes this spot though. He says, you're in good hands out there. Yeah, let's go. Let's talk some NBA action here, guys. No college hoops tonight. Smash that thumbs up button. We're going to have a flying show here to get everybody off and on their way for this Monday. We've got a lot of work to do for college bracket tournament. Lots of spots to get brackets in there, and want to make sure you guys have the opportunity to get those done. So there's no sense to belabor what's happening tonight. We're going to get into it. We're going to hit it hard, and we're going to get you guys on your way. So let's open up this NBA card. We've got one 7 p.m. game here. It's Cleveland. It's the Indiana Pacers. It's a line that opened as the Pacers -4.5. This line is now -6.5. 54% of the bets, only 32% of the cash on the Pacers. The total, taking a deep dive here, 227s down to 225.5 right now. We have 67% of the bets and 73% of the cash on the over, yet it's dropped. Now, I will say, I know for a fact, just because it was an hour ago I was putting this together, this number's back on the uptick. So this 224.5 is what I originally was able to lock it in at. It went to 225. Now we're seeing 225.5. And again, big situation with the defensive guys out for this Cleveland Cavaliers team right now. Evan Mobley, Maxey Strus, Dean Wade, big defensive bodies out there. Now, Dean Wade's doubtful, but probably not going to play. And we know Donovan Mitchell's out of this game. On the other side of things for the Pacers, McDermott, okay. I mean, it is what it is in this case here. And then if you look at these two teams, now, interesting enough, we know if you've been following the NBA, even lukewarm NBA follower, the Pacers have been smashing totals all season until late. Since the All-Star break, the unders have been firing away like crazy across the NBA. I think I said NHL, across the NBA landscape. And the Pacers are no exception to that spot. The Cavs, on the other hand, have been an over team. Now, here's where the quandary comes into play with these injuries and why I think this trickery comes in. You had all your defensive guys and your games were going over. Now your defensive guys are out there, or I'm sorry, out of the game. And is it supposed to go over again? I mean, the numbers that we saw were 206, 208, 220s, 217.5s, 216s for the Cavaliers. Not buying that brand of NBA bullshit today here. I'm taking the 225.5 is the current number that's out there, and I'm rolling with this under. I'll tell you first and foremost, I did talk about, these two teams and their prowess here, the defensive capabilities. These two teams met twice this year. They had a 237 and a 238 final score. I get it. But the long haul, the last 10 meetings between these two teams have been averaging a score of 221. And that's with everybody playing. So with the big guys rolling, we see that situation and we see that thing has gone to 221. We're moving back up. So we're building margin back into this number in my estimation here. And then we look at some other factors with the NBA. When either team has rest, one's coming off a loss as a road favorite. The under 33, 1-1. Here's that margin. 13 points a game when they're facing a conference opponent spot there. So 33, 1-1 to the under in this spot there when there's a rest factor and a team coming off a road favorite loss. Kind of a bounce back spot there. They play defense in those bounce back spots. And when you're rested, you don't have to worry about your defense gassing out in the second half. Those two fit together pretty nicely for me out there. 11 of the last 13 Cavalier road games have gone under the total as well. Lots of strength for that one there. And the Pacers. The Pacers are 13-0 to the under, going back to January 6th when they have rest out there and scored more than 120 points the previous game. Line it all up, put it all together for me, and put a big circle on it, an exclamation point. We're rocking this under in this Cavaliers game. I was apprehensive at first. I like the number moving back now. I think we're getting to, I was taking it at 220, 223 and a half. I was taking it. Didn't matter. I was taking it at 222 and a half. Didn't matter. The fact that we're at 225 and a half now for me is a great opportunity. So let's roll on. Let's move forward. Let's talk about this next game out there. Our guy, Nasty Nate, has alluded to, oh man, just looked out the window. Things you don't want to see in the middle of March when you look out your window. Snow. It's March 18th. Go away. Go away, snow. But let's talk about the 7:30 game. Here we go. We've got the Detroit Pistons. We've got the Boston Celtics. We heard from our guys. We heard from Ramon Scott, our homeboy, telling us about these injuries. Cade Cunningham, Jason Tatum. Okay with the Tatum side of things. But as we look at the total, this line opened at minus 15 and a half. 15 and a half. It's now 16 and a half. I can't believe it. 76%. I guess I can now with Cade Cunningham, but I mean, this team's going to have to, Celtics are going to have to win this game by 20 points. Sorry, I digress, but the Celtics are going to win this game by 20. Maybe they do. This bottom number, though, the back number opens at 225, all the way down to 220 and a half. We don't have a lot of visibility into the money, but we know the bets. We know that we've got 51% of the bets on the under. And this number's bottoming out. 220 and a half is a full 2-point stance away from where I started with this thing. I love it. I'm taking the over in this game here. We talked about this one the other day. We picked up a nice W on it. Was when the team's got more spread covers than they do actual wins. The over's 353 and 294 in those spots. But the number that ultimately gave me the confidence, 2 more spots, I guess I'll give you guys. One that I've been riding pretty hot right now. Heavy favorites after they cover, which we just saw last night. The overs hit an amazing 114 times to 46 times it hasn't. So 114 out of 160 games, 114 have hit. That's good enough for 64 and a half units. And one of the big leaders of the clubhouse there is the Boston Celtics in that spot. Last but not least, when these two teams play, it's an over extravaganza. Each of the last 5 home games between the Celtics when they're hosting the Pistons have gone over the number, and it's continuing to drop as I look at it. Let me just double check again here. I meant to open that up and look to see. We've got the 220 at minus 113. I'll take the minus. I'm paid for the hook. I'm going to take the 220 at minus 113. Look, 221s are out there. You got to line shop. You got to do your best there to get yourselves the best number. I'm good with 221 anyways. That's minus 110. So it's 3 cents for me to get that point off of the equation. You guys know I think the point's valued at 10 cents. And if I can take it at 3 cents, then I'm going to take it and run with it. So I'm still good with 221 and a half or 221s. Don't stress it. We're all fine with these numbers. It's the margin that's so huge in these spots out there. And I think we've got another situation with this Boston-Detroit game. I know there's some key guys out, but it's a low number for these guys. And if you look back at it now, the Celtics' last 2 games, overs. But there's that over trend with a big total, 14 and a half yesterday. What do? I mean, they damn near covered the thing on their own. It was only 104 points out of Washington, but they win that game 130 to 104. They get it done. The Pistons side of things, though, 4 straight unders for the Pistons. I think, though, with Cade Cunningham being out of this game, it's going to open up some opportunity in that offensive lineup for some guys to go out there and stack. So I'm going to roll with it. Game number 2 in the NBA. We're going to take advantage here. I mean, look at this. 222 and a half down to 220s. They already knew Cade Cunningham wasn't going to play. So taking him out of a number that probably should have been around 230, and now it's down at 220 feels like a great spot to me. Joey Arb says, no Tatum. That seems high to me. Tatum's a bitch. I said it. I said it. So, we'll see what happens with it, though. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to regret saying it, but no regrets, no regrets, not even a single letter. Shout out TC Capper. Mikey, how do you feel about the March brackets? I hear you asking, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about all the brackets that there are out there. Lots of opportunities to capitalize on it. I think there's some great dog spots this year, but you know what they say, the more you know, the less better you do. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know that I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot. I just watched a lot of these games and these teams, but I feel like I do have some opportunity based on watching them all season to capitalize. So We'll see. Got a couple brackets out. I'm excited. There's a couple first round upsets that I know we'll be talking about throughout the shows here. But I can tell you, let me just try to recap it off the top of my head. The top 5 most public bet dogs in the first round right now. No regrets. You got it, Fernando Mendoza. Not a single letter. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, Virginia, the most bet public dog in the first round. They were plus 125s. At BetMGM released these earlier today. It's probably changed a little bit. It was Virginia. It was NC State. It was Longwood. How about that? Can Longwood go deep? And the answer might be no there with a 16-1 spot on them, boys. And I forgot the other 2. I'll think about it as we continue to have conversation about the show. But yeah, so I think that Virginia spot's definitely trappy and then some. And Morgan Spoon. Yeah, Virginia's bad. Their defense is strong. It's their offense that's terrible. And you can have a strong defense and carry it through as long as your guys can make threes from the parking lot. But they ain't making shit this year. So it's been a struggle for them. And we saw that ring true the other day. So anyhow, I digress there. JPZ says South Florida plus 5 versus UCF is interesting too. Yeah, I'll have to dig in more. I know some of the lines were coming out earlier today as things were rolling, and I didn't get a chance to fully dig in there. I was doing a couple of brackets. I got a bunch of them I got to put together. So I was doing some brackets. What do you want me to say? I think I'm 4 deep already. So we'll see what happens here. Jason Mayer says Sixers minus 1.5, minus 131 because Butler ain't playing as far as I know. Nope, we got that confirmation from our guy, Ramon Scott. Butler is out. Jimmy Buckets is out of the game. I like that Sixers spot anyways. In or out, I like that Sixers spot. It made a lot of sense to me. So Tori Coker says, I'd drop a bag on NC State and Oregon. I'm good with Oregon. I'm not sure about NC State, but for all fairness, I wasn't on NC State any one of these. I think I was on them for one game. I think one of the 5 games they ran through the ACC, I was with them. Other than that, I kept waiting for them to lose, and they didn't. So I'm not the best judge of character for NC State, but I do believe in that Oregon team. So I'm going to get back into the buy on Oregon mode right now out there. And I do believe, by the way, since we're kind of indirectly talking about it, I guess I'm talking about it. I don't believe UConn's going to repeat. So if your bracket's consisting of having UConn repeat, I think the last time we saw a repeat was back in, was it 2005? I want to say it was a Florida team. Anyhow, I don't expect that to happen. And I think Iowa State's taking them boys out in the Elite 8. So, the Elite 8. So anyhow, let's roll on. Let's keep going here. We got more games to get to. Smoke and Mirror says my alma mater. They have a Love Your Longwood Day on 3/20/24. I call it Longwood in my day, and there was reason for show, my guy. Smoke and Mirrors. It's funny. That is funny. Let's go. JPZ says that plus money on UNLV is most interesting. I agree with that spot there. I think some of those Mountain West and Pac-12 teams are going to be real spots out there. I'm not a believer in anybody in the Big Ten, personally. And I know some folks have talked about Creighton. I'm not a big fan of Creighton either, but it's just my unbiased opinion. So, but when I say unbiased, I mean strongly rooted and biased. So, Nasty Nate says Sixers wash each other in the shower. I don't know about that, Nasty Nate. I think they get the Boston cheerleaders to help them out with that. But anyhow, let's see. Let's roll. Kelly V says Friday, Boston at Detroit. Teams again. Jason Mayer, I think Kings minus 10 is a solid play, but I didn't bet it. Kelsey says, Mikey, do you bet baseball? Kelsey, you are looking at the originator of the RBI prop of the day there. Nobody was tossing out RBIs until yours truly started putting them on the mat. So absolutely, we bet baseball, and it's unfortunately it's one of my best sports. And I say unfortunately because I didn't grow up a baseball guy. I was a hockey guy, and I got into golfing in the summertime, golfing and boating, not fucking around with baseball. So hey, maybe that's the unbiased part that I talk about that comes in there. So yeah, excited about it. Let's roll. And we've got some early starts too, right? Baseball is a Wednesday. They're starting over there in I know it's out in the Pacific Rim. I don't recall exactly where it was, but Tokyo, I want to say. And there's no reason I say Tokyo other than just I don't think it's Tokyo. Anyhow, whatever. Let's roll on. Let's get going into the rest of these games here. We've got ourselves plenty of action in the NBA. So we just talked about the over 220 in the NBA game with the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons out there. You guys had heard me do the calculation. Why did I take the 220? It's 3 cents for me against the minus 110, and I get a full point in that spot. So absolutely great buy. Still like 221s. I'd probably take it up to 227. I don't know. I'm not going to handicap the back number in its entirety, just a spot that I'm in on 220s, and I'm okay with 220 and a halves. Let's move on. Let's talk about this Minnesota Timberwolves spot here. The Minnesota T-Wolves and the Utah Jazz. This line opened at +7. 59% of the bets and 59% of the cash on the Timberwolves. Reverse line movement. Reverse line movement. I think I know why. I'll tell you in a second. We opened at 223.5 on the back number. We're still at 223.5. 50% of the bets and 95% of the cash on the over. 95% of the cash. No movement. Frozen line. Let's look at the money line. Just for shits and gigs. -290, -205 now. It opened at -290. It's down to -205. 90% of the cash on this thing. There's a reason I'm citing all those numbers for you guys, and it has to do with the fact that I'm in on the Utah Jazz in this spot tonight. We saw that these guys just played each other. Big opportunity to go out there and get the job done. And they just played each other at Utah, March 16th. So they've had a couple of days off. I don't know what the hell the Timberwolves did in Utah for the 2 days that they were sitting around, because if you haven't been, it's not really, we're not talking South Beach with this Utah spot. That being said, the Jazz. This is a perfect tailor-made spot, and one of the reasons I love the reverse line movement angle. I love that the total's frozen here when everyone's jacking up some points. Jazz is a home dog when they're going against the same team off a home loss. Think about it. They're the home dog. It's the back-to-back spot at home, and they just lost to the team. They rebound. They recover. They bounce back, whatever you want to call it. And they do it 10 times to one loss. 10-1 over an 11-game sample in that spot as the home dog off a team that they previously lost to. They're winning by 5 points on margin against the spread. They're actually winning these games outright in a 118, 117 type of average scoring situation. I am jumping in on the Utah Jazz here. And then if you look across the board, it's funny. I was joking about Jordan Clarkson earlier today. Marketing is questionable. We do have marketing questionable. As we roll down the line, we know Karl Anthony Towns. Rudy Gobert is questionable. Kyle Anderson's questionable. Monte Morris is questionable. Jalen Clark is out. So these guys are definitely some playmaking components out there. We saw this last game. These two teams played each other head-to-head just the other day, as I mentioned. 119-100 spot for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going to roll the other side of this one here. I'm going to take the points in my back pocket. Look for these boys to win out right now. 6s at -110s. But get them while they're hot, because we're seeing 5.5s. It opened at 7, as I mentioned. And now there's 5s out there. There's 5s at -109. So line shop, definitely get the best number you can out there on this one. I think they're a live dog, but I want the 6. That means they're going to have to essentially, Timberwolves are going to have to go out there and win again by double digits. And I just find that hard to believe in this case as we roll on. So Jimmy Hendricks says, Mike, are we on the Flames today? I lean the Flames. I took the under, Jimmy. Took the under. Under 6 at -105 for the Calgary Flames game. But I do like the Calgary Flames. And if you parlayed the under 6.5 in the Calgary Flames, it's +195. I'm just saying. Let's roll on. Let's talk about this next game that we've got here. A lot of people talking about it. I saw the action pop up in the chat as well here. And what are we looking at? I'll tell you exactly what we're looking at here. We're looking at this New York Knicks Golden State Warriors game right now. We've got this back number. This total opened at 4. 45% of the bets, 94% of the cash, like the New York Knicks. And yet it's gone up to 6.5, right? So 2.5 point movement. The back number opened at 213. It's got 55% of the bets on the over. It's down to 211.5. Now, I would have expected it to drop a little bit more considering how many people I've seen banging away on this under. But I locked this thing in earlier this morning. I thought it was a great spot, and I'm going to stand behind it here. We've got a great situation where you've got you're playing against a home team, and one of the two teams is scoring below the league average on the year. We're seeing that the average scores in those spots are going under the total 187 times to 140 times it's gone over. But neither team is crossing the triple-digit barrier. So it's a low number for a reason. It makes a lot of sense. The Knicks and the under are fucking stupid. Under since December 30th, they're 29-7 to the under. Now, OG Anunoby's not playing this game. I get it. I understand it. But I still think it's a play on in this spot here. The Knicks, since they picked up Anunoby, are 28-7 to the under. But with him being out of that thing going back to December 30th, they're 29-7 to the under. When they've got a total under 234.5, They're 28-6 to the under. Just an under team. 11 of the Knicks' last 12 games have gone under the total as well. It's to 11.5 for a reason. I'm locking it in to 11.5. I kind of suspect that it hasn't moved any lower because people are looking at this thing going, there's no way it's going to finish that low. And I do, in fact, think it does. And in fact, if you think we're getting it at a low point, we're actually probably getting a little bit of a discount on it because the last Golden State Warriors game against the LA Lakers 2 nights ago went over the total, soared over the total, 233.5. They got almost 250 points in that game. So Warriors coming back home after 3 straight road games in a row. This will be the 3rd straight road game for the New York Knicks here. I expect tired legs, and we just talked about the monster run that we've seen with them boys in the New York Knicks. It's more of a play on the Knicks than it is Golden State, but I think Golden State does their part to hold this thing under. Previous Golden State games, they scored 105 against Portland. Oh, I'm sorry, looking at the wrong team. They scored 99 against Dallas, 112 against the Spurs, 113 against the Spurs as well. So, they're certainly doing their part to get there. It is a low number. It's going to be interesting to see how this one kind of grinds in there. It's going to be tight, I think, when it comes down to it. But Kelsey's asking if Curry's playing, and I believe he is. I think the the Golden State Warriors seem to have a pretty clean injury report across the board. So I don't see anybody out there. We know Randall's out. We know Anunoby's out. We know Mitchell Robinson's out on the other side of things. 446-3013, baby. Says Brunson over 29 points. Over 40 last 2 games on a heater, unstoppable. I just don't like to get my overs and player props on games that I'm tied to an under, but I totally respect it, totally get it, and it makes a lot of sense. Someone's got to score for the Knicks, so go get it, my guy. Good luck to you. Steve G says the Trap getting ready for demolition. The A's, the Trop. Man, that stadium looked cool. On a side note, I saw that little landscape that they had. Of course, you got to keep the Vegas skyline in the background behind it too. What a great way to look out. I think it was out to left field was that beautiful backdrop of the Vegas skyline. So that's going to be exciting, man. One of my last trips, I think I beat up the Trop pretty good, but that place is beat up. They needed to do something. They either had to drop a bomb on it or demo it and turn it into a baseball stadium. And they opted for the latter. It's going to be a lot of fun watching Oakland play in Las Vegas. Last game of the night, we've got ourselves a 10 p.m. Eastern showdown. We've got the Memphis Grizzlies. We've got the Sacramento Kings right now. This line open at 9.5. 61% of the bets and 98% of the cash have rolled in on this Memphis Grizzlies spot. Then when we look at the total, it opened at 222.5. 84% of the bets, no visibility into the cash, but 84% of the bets on the over. A lot of points. And I think it's too many points here. When you push comes to shove between these two teams, there's a lot of support that shows it should be an over spot. They're 8-0 to the over. When they scored less than 100 points the previous game, they show that they come back out firing. But it's the fact that they scored less than 100 points that last spot out there that gets me excited about this one. It was the Knicks, 98-91 spot out there with these guys. And it was just a couple of days ago. But on the other side of things here, the Grizz are starting to make it a little road trip for themselves. This is their first game on the road. It'll be out west, of course. And this one comes down to some coaching stats. You hear a lot of the player stats. We hear a lot of the NBA stats. We even hear a lot of the team stats. How often do we get coaching stats? Not very often. But Mike Brown in the Kings gear as the home favorite. The line greater than a -5. 8-21. 8-21. 28-1 to the over, by the way. 20-8-1. 28-1 to the over. I like points in this game. I think it's a great spot. I know the Kings have failed to cover the spread in each 6 of their last 7 games in the favorite role as well. What I like most about that trend and what kind of got me on that thing right off the hop was I said it before. My eyeballs tell me. My head tells me. When the Kings are a dog, you bet them. When they're a favorite, you fade them. This is a great example of why you do that right now, especially when they're in that favorite role over a 5 out there. 8-21. And the margin on that thing's 5. So let's go out there and let's see if we get it. AOD says 19 more likes to 100. Come on, you guys. If you're just getting in, you appreciate the content. Nobody's breaking these games down like we are here over on Pub Sports Radio. Appreciate everybody rocking with us up there in the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. Jason Mayer says, I think Montez for Cincy with a 9+ ERA is going to take down a little tonight, but didn't bet it out there. Yeah, hey, I get it. I saw Montez. I was thinking Montana State. I like Montana State against Grambling there. I know they opened up, I believe, as a 4-point favorite against Grambling. And you guys have heard me talk about Montana State for the last 2 weeks at least now. Those boys are just defense be damned. Let's go out there and play some offense and just outscore teams. And that's, in fact, what they've been doing. So I like that spot a lot. Let's see what else is going on here. We got Frank in the house there. It says Kings have Denver tomorrow. Even better, Frank. Even better. I love it when a plan comes together, my guy, Frank. Appreciate you. GPL 2000. What do you mean last game of the night, Lakers-Hawks is at 10:30? You missed a game. I didn't miss a game. I'm not betting that game. Well, I did bet that game earlier today, but I gave the play out on the sesh out there. I'll tell you guys, I'll give you some of the numbers behind it. I mean, it's a strong play on for the Lakers spot, but unfortunately, we've got this line moved from plus 9.5 down to 8.5. 59% of the bets and 83% of the cash are on the Lakers, and it's moved down in the opposite direction. So reverse line movement for the Lakers. And when I say for the Lakers, I mean it's really moving. It's been the reverse line movement is saying the Hawks, not the Lakers. I don't know if that makes sense, right? The reverse line movement. The line opened at 9.5. It's down to 8.5. Everyone's betting it. That's reverse line movement. The total opened at 226. It is dropping. 47% of the bets on the under, 53% of the cash. Of the bets on the over. It is dropping. So, kind of something to be concerned with, I guess, when it comes down to it. But this is a great Lakers spot in my estimation, simply because of the situation that you've got right now. Road dogs are small favorites when they have no rest, are 0-23 against the spread. They're getting cooked by 12 points in those spots if they're off a win as a dog. So it definitely suggests fading the Atlanta Hawks, who we just cashed with yesterday. I just cashed with the Atlanta Hawks, gave that one out as well to them boys over there on All About the Hoops with Dutch Boy Fresh on Sunday. But 0-23 spot. And I'll tell you what I did. I'll roll it back here. We'll add this one to the official card as well. I already gave it out earlier. I try not to do that twice, in that try to be unique with every show that we do, so you guys aren't just hearing the same breakdown over and over. But we're talking about it. Fuck it, I might as well share it with you guys. No secrets amongst friends, right? I took the Lakers money line and I put Clint Capella over 10 plus rebounds to it, and it made it a plus 114 spot. So I know it's a juicy spot for the Lakers, but it's going to be injuries be damned. And we've had a lot of success trying to find a way to turn big numbers into plus money. So great opportunity, I think, to go out there and get it. You look at what Capella's done, by the way. His numbers have been terrific. He's been a guy that's gone, I think, his last 3 or 4 games in a row now. He's nailed over this mark as well. And we look at the center, the position, and the Lakers and how many rebounds they give up to the positional spot. That is, and it's just a terrific opportunity. So I don't have it in front of me. I wasn't planning on breaking it down or sharing that number with you guys, but I like it. I think it's a good opportunity to get involved with. I think, again, you're taking a 9 or an 8.5 with reverse line movement. We expect the Lakers to win this game. They should. And then we're adding that parlay to it, and we're making it plus money. So haters be damned in that spot there. The Lakers allow the 8th most rebounds to opposing centers, and Capella's a top 10 rebounder on the season. There's my notes for it. So lots of great opportunity. He only played 25 minutes in the blowout win over the Clippers last night. It's not like he's got beat up and exhausted legs. He should be good to go for the duration. And we'll add that one in there as well. We'll take that one. We'll add it to, we'll say the Lakers money line. Eric Capella, 10 plus. So make an eye on that because, when I was looking at it this morning, it was sitting at 9.5. Then I went on the session and moved to 10.5. So we moved it back to 10 plus. So we moved that thing back and took an opportunity to kind of fade that line movement out there. And that's going to do it, you guys. That'll be how we put a bow on Monday's show. You guys got an extra 10 minutes back in the day to go try to figure out what you're going to do for your brackets out there. Hope you guys have a lot of fun and getting those brackets cashed. That's what it's all about above all else, right? Let's be mindful. It's like 1 in a bazillion chance that you end up having the perfect bracket anyways. So have fun with it out there. Enjoy the spot. Enjoy the opportunity. Take some shots. Remember where the upsets come. And I would definitely strongly recommend look how conferences play each other. How does the MAC go out there against the SEC? And how does the Big 12 hold up when they're playing the Pac-12? Are certain things you want to look at overall because those guys are made to play within divisions. When they start to match up outside of divisions, those conference rankings are very important with what they do out there. And that'll do it for the show. So let's give a quick recap. We'll give everybody a last second here to get back in. If you're just joining us late, 2 hockey plays. First one starts at 8:30. We've got the Calgary Flames under 6. We got that at minus 105. We've got the Buffalo Sabres plus 102 today, and we are running so ultra hot in the NHL, plus 45.22 units across the NHL. The NBA right now, we're looking at Cleveland under 225.5. We got Boston over 220. We've got the Utah Jazz plus 6. Golden State under 211.5. Memphis plus 11. And the Lakers and Clint Capella's rebounds, 10-plus rebounds at plus 114 spots out there for today's card. Short card don't mean we can't go out there and get that big cash out there. Appreciate you, Fernando Mendoza, our guy with the $4.99 dono blessing our action. We appreciate that, my guy, Fernando Mendoza. You the man. I appreciate you hanging out with us every time you get. I know you're a busy guy too, and that means a ton to see you out there, whether it be with these streams or others, hanging out on the live chats, getting involved with the shows that we do. Fernando Mendoza, you're a real one, my guy. Salute to you, and thanks for blessing our action tonight with the $4.99 dono. Jason Mayer says, don't go. Much love, Mike. Keep up the great BURN. Hey. Thanks, brother. Thank you, Jason Mayer. I appreciate that, man. Frank says, damn, nice NHL numbers. Yeah, man, we're trying to strive to get that cash. That's where it's at today and where it's been at for us the majority of the season. So let's keep it rolling. Still positive in every other sport as well. So worth noting, it's just the NHL has been by far our bread and butter. So we got to take advantage today with those spots there. Joe T in the house says, have a good one, Mike. You're the best. Oh, man, thanks, dude. He says, I'm taking the Boston game over. Appreciate you, Joe T. Kelly V, Lakers on a teaser, -3. Truth Teller says, good stuff. Kelsey says, thanks, Mikey. Good to see you guys, all you guys out there. None yet. Jay Peasy with the poop emoji out there. Maybe he doesn't like that Lakers spot. I don't know. Nunya says, Jay Peasy mad because he betting on those West Coast teams. Blaze Lee in the house says, thank you, Pimp Slap. Thank you, Blaze Lee. Appreciate you coming out there, hanging with us. Frank, of course, the gang, 446-3013. On that heat says, one more leg for that SGP boost. Let me see. Let me look. Let me see. I knew I was talking about it earlier today. I'll give it to you. X going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you here as we're wrapping up the show here. Nothing better than putting the brakes on it to try to come up with one more spot for you guys here for this player prop parlay to get that cash. And Clint Capella. I just talked about it. Clint Capella. What did I say? I said Capella, didn't I? I hope I didn't fuck that up. Well, I better double check. What a terrific finish here. Get back to me. Hit me up on X there. I'll share it with you. I can't find it here at the moment. I want to get everybody up out of here. So shoot me a DM on X, and I would be happy to talk to any and all of you guys and girls out there. Love trading back and forth with what we're doing out there. You guys already know the deal. Get out there, become a member if you haven't gone green. We love to see everybody in the green, and it's $9.99 a month. You get yourself an opportunity. Support the community that we're building here. Our guy Jeff Slaughter's giving out $50 twice a week from his own pocket out there in the virtual horse racing. They have a lot of fun with Jimmy the Bag Show and Jose Bouquet. And, of course, we've got discounts to the merch store. Get that swag, get all that gear them boys have laid up out there for you with the sesh and all the other shows that are cooking around the pub sports world. Get yourself some pub rub. It's time to barbecue. Barbecue season's in the air. Get yourself some pub rub and rub your meat. That's going to do it for us here tonight. Shout out my homie T on the ones and twos, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Get that cash. And I'll see everybody back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're rocking here at Last Call Pub Sports Radio. We be pubbing!